This is Ndtv, and you're watching Classics.
Hello and welcome to Special Report. Over the next half hour, we'll be taking a look at work and how dramatically this has changed for so many in urban India, particularly for those in the IT and BPO industries. New entrants in this field take home salaries higher than those their parents retired with. But what has changed, apart from material rewards, are also hours and expectations, working conditions and aspirations. One area of work that has not changed for centuries: manual labour. The hours are long, the pay meagre, the conditions often deplorable. For millions of daily wagers, work is not defined by perks and promotions, but by sheer survival. But for those working in the frontline areas of the 21st century, especially those in knowledge-based industries, the changes have been swift and sharp. One of the first things to disappear was the concept of the 9-to-5 working day. India's young army of BPO workers, for example, are operating on a time zone from across the globe. And with globalization a reality, more and more people need to work when their clients in other continents do.
I've had to work with them probably all through the night because I may be supporting them, and it may be through mutual discussion that myself and my counterpart in the US is doing something. So I've had work the entire night, but as I said, it probably is the best way rather than keeping a 9-to-5 shift.
The IT industry, the BPO industry is really our window to the rest of the world. So it's not a 9-to-5 job anymore. It's a 24/7 job, and you fit in somewhere between that.
Rapid leaps in technology facilitate connectivity. Many people now begin their working day checking email to see what their officers on the other side of the world have been up to overnight. And the cell phone ensures work is not restricted to a brick and mortar structure. An employee can be reached wherever and whenever. And the distinction between private and work life is not one the cell phone recognizes.
Constantly we have to now use multiple signals to regulate and to conduct our behavior, our work, our lives, and that indeed is stressful. Life has become a 24/7 kind of a phenomenon. I mean, there is a complete collapse of categories, time categories, and therefore what you did in that time have been collapsed into an entirely different one, which can be simply summed up as 24/7. You are a father 24/7, you are a husband 24/7, you are a worker 24/7. In that sense, we are now playing multiple roles at the same time, whereas we played multiple roles but in different times within a day.
Even as it extends our working day, technology has also speeded things up. Emails fly across the intranet much faster than the paper memo. But it wasn't always that way.
During my days, first Xerox machine which came, when they were Xeroxing, there is a long process to make one copy. You will take it there, you roll it, and it was a really tedious process. When the very first computer came, it used to take so much time even to respond to one of the commands. Now we get so fed up, if it is not responding, we get irritated. At that time, the life used to be, I think it used to be slow.
Another area of change has been the workspace itself, with the fear of intellectual property theft adding to growing international security concerns. You can't even get from one place in the office to another, unless you are carrying your own personal employee swipe card. And for those who do have that magic card and can actually gain access to their office, the old-fashioned desk or workspace, adorned with pictures of the wife and kiddies, is on its way to being consigned to history. At Sun Microsystems, only the boss has a permanent, not too large cabin of his own. The rest of the space, workstations, cubicles and conference rooms are booked online by employees, depending on the needs of the day and regardless of rank.
So let me take you around. First of all, this is my office. You can make out that it's a nice, small, comfortable office. Basically, the principle in Sun is the concept of flexi offices, which means that people actually book their office space We travel so much, especially if you're a field organization, that it doesn't really make sense to have assigned seating for people. For example, out here, this office actually belongs to our Chief Technology Officer, and he's at the present moment in Singapore.
Yes.
So what happens is that his team sits here.
Yes.
So we basically have this concept of zoning. So most of the technical specialists or the consultants would sit in this area, but they would book their space.
Okay.
And if Anil, who is our
Yeah.
CTO, is not here, then somebody can book his office.
All right.
So you'll notice that there is nothing which is, personal
Personally
in
his,
his
yes.
out here. And most of the papers and everything else, which are his private stuff, is actually gets stored in one of these
All right,
cupboards.
okay.
So for example, it's listed here Anil Valuri. So his personal belongings, his personal files, his official files are all here, so that when he's traveling, somebody else can use
His
his
workspace
office.
is really anybody's workspace.
Anybody can sit here.
Impersonal, yes. And perhaps one of the contributing factors to the feeling of disconnect that many of today's employees have towards their company. Human beings are territorial by nature, and there is a sense of comfort in moving towards your own desk, your own computer terminal, your own space. But this kind of personalized working space is increasingly being seen as impractical in today's working environment. Maybe the office itself is on its way out.